Hello and welcome to J to T, my channel here where I'm going to be talking a lot about my transition, which mentally started when I was 8 years old and physically started just over a week ago. Um, I'm here to answer any questions about my transition, any advice, although this is relatively new to me. I've done a lot of research. I've talked to a lot of other trans men. I'm going to be talking about a lot of different things that we go through as trans men, or just anybody in the transgender community at large. So thank you for watching my channel. I just wanted to sort of talk a little bit about how I really came to decide that I was trans and my story. I was very androgynous as a child. I was always a tomboy, and, I just didn't really feel like I fit. I know that's sort of cliche. Actually, it's really cliche to say, but that's just really the facts. And I always had body issues. I was never comfortable with myself, and I just didn't really know how to express it. When I was 8 years old, that was probably the first time that I ever realized that I didn't realize, but I'm realizing now that when I was 8 years old, that was the first time when I ever chose to be more masculine and present and act in a male role when I was on a play date. And basically, I had various, little things through my childhood to sort of make me feel isolated, or things that I would choose to do that were more masculine. I was always so mad that I couldn't, shop in the guys section and this and that, and I was never vocal about this, but these were all feelings that I was having. And, I didn't really know back then about the trans community or what it meant to be transgender, or feel sort of gender in general. I was just too young and uneducated. I didn't meet my first trans person until I think my sophomore year of high school. And so it really wasn't until about 6 years ago in college, my junior year at SUNY Purchase, where I realized that yes, I'm questioning my gender, and actually that's thanks to Kate Bornstein, so thanks, Kate. Came to Purchase to give us a talk about gender and her story, and it literally changed my life in the sense that everything made sense suddenly. I had somebody who I could really relate to, and you know how sometimes you hear things over and over again, and you spend time sort of in that environment with those people, whatever compared to your situation, and you just don't really get it, or it doesn't sort of present itself as an idea right away, and it just sort of took the right person at the right time in the right circumstance to tell me about all this stuff, and suddenly, the light bulb went off. But I was super, super secretive about it. I told nobody until not long, I think, after Kate came. I told one of my friends that I was sort of thinking about my gender, and also thinking about, I think at the time I was also thinking about identifying as queer, which I do openly and have for several years now. But I couldn't bring myself to talk about it. I wasn't ready to accept it. I had multiple different instances throughout my later college years and after that where I've had the opportunity to just continue to present as more and more androgynous, and then more and more masculine, and I just realized more and more that this was possibly something that I was really going to have to deal with. But I ended up in a relationship that was quite feminizing, and then I actually got sick with a chronic head illness, and actually that was when I had all this time laying around in bed. I had like 8.5 months where I just had nothing that I could do, and I had a lot of time to think, and I sort of just started to become obsessive about my gender, and I started to really acknowledge that I was a little dysphoric. And when I was able to get out of bed, I promised myself that I was going to live a happier and healthier life and more honest life. Even though I'm a very honest person, this was part of me that I was, a big central part of me that I was not open about until recently. So I started to do research and talk to friends that were trans guys, and just really soul searched and realized, okay, I'm certainly not cisgender, so I came out as gender fluid, when really I knew that I was a trans man, but I wanted to be like 1,000% sure and more sorted within myself before I sort of laid that on the line for friends and family, especially knowing that family was going to have a hard time with it. And, I just sort of kept it in. And then one day I woke up in October and I just looked in the mirror and I couldn't take it anymore. I was incredibly dysphoric about my chest, still am. And looking to have top surgery hopefully at the beginning of June, crossing fingers. But in the meantime, I now have been on T for just over a week, and I'm moving through my process. So thanks for listening to my story, and the journey continues, and know that nobody has the same journey as somebody else, but there are certain things that are the same, certain sort of trends or feelings or, experiences, they overlap with people, so it's good to be able to connect. So feel free to comment below, let me know your thoughts, share your story. I'd love to hear more about you, and yeah, see you next time.